digging in the crates for something good. Hidden gems often misunderstood. 'Cause you know there's no such thing as too much. Miscellaneous important stuff.
Welcome back to the show. Today, Cassie was here and we talked about creativity, which is sort of a broad topic, but we focused mainly on what it means to be creative for an individual and for a group. And it's a hard thing to define, but it's one of my favorite things to talk about. I feel like I could have done this for several more hours. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it too. Here it is. You ready?
I'm ready.
Pretend like I didn't just hit record.
Okay.
What do you feel like it means to be creative?
Oh, yeah.
It's a good start, isn't it?
What does it feel like to be creative?
No,
what does it mean?
What does it mean to be creative? What does it mean to be a creative?
I think just like thinking outside.
Also, that sounds very pretentious, but I don't know what else to call it.
Well, and I could just say thinking outside the box.
It's just like thinking differently than the rest of the world. Yeah. I don't know.
I think you have to really think differently than most people. I don't know.
That's basically what I just said, making fun of it.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I guess it's true though, right?
What else are we doing every day?
No, but what separates you from somebody else who is like, I don't know, I have ideas.
Man.
Because there's a lot of those people.
Okay, so here's how I really feel about creativity.
That's why I asked the question. I prefer you to tell me how you really feel.
I think people can honestly teach themselves how to be creative. I really do think that.
You're crazy.
I know most people don't think that. They're like, you have to have talent. You have to be so creative. But I really think that you can teach yourself how to do it.
That's different.
What?
That's totally different. Because,
what is different?
Because that's a similar line to what I use. I tell people, I think everyone's creative.
Oh, boy.
I think everyone's creative.
Oh, my God. I don't think so. I don't think you can just, like, be creative right out of the box.
Everyone has it in them. I hate when people are like, I don't know, you do it. I'm not creative. I'm like, you probably are. You're just afraid. You're afraid to say your ideas.
Exactly it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyone could be creative.
That's different.
No.
That's different from being a creative. Again, I hate to use that term, but a creative.
I think you're just putting more effort and like you are literally using your mind for your job to do that. Other people are like, well, I have other things to do. So they move on they're not. I think that.
You don't think your brain works that way?
No.
I disagree.
I fully
also disagree
with myself.
I don't know. I mean, I can't say for sure. I just feel like I probably.
What is it? Okay, for you, what is it? What's different?
What's different about my brain?
Yeah, than other people.
Well, if I just think about what I'm thinking about all day, if I look at what I'm thinking about all day, it's different from what everyone else is thinking about.
Exactly. But if anyone was like, okay, this is my job, this is what I'm thinking about all day, you think it would be different?
Yes.
Why?
Because
I don't think so. I think anyone could do it.
Okay,
if that was their job all day long.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think most people just don't. They're like, oh, that's like a thing that other people do.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that anyone could do it. It's just your job all day.
It's probably in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a mix of imagination and skill.
Yeah. Like you have to tap in. Okay. So on some level, I think you have to be open enough to access a part of your brain that a lot of us probably haven't accessed since we were children.
Yeah.
But I think everyone could do it. I do think that.
That's probably.
I don't think it's like. I don't think there's like a talent. I think on some level there's like a little bit of talent. It's like a little bit of talent and mostly just like a lot of trying and trying.
That's true.
A lot of trying.
I do feel like it's a lot of trial and error because I see a lot of stuff, especially when I started, that I made that I'm like, that's awful, and as it should
Every
be.
day I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah, I look at what I did last week, and I think that's
Exactly.
waste of everyone's time.
For sure.
But it somehow went out in the world.
But like the only way that I have gotten better is just like doing it every day.
But I guess part of it is having the imagination, and then also having the skill to make it happen. Because if I have an idea,
what is the skill though? Like just practicing.
well, yeah, no, that's true. If I have an idea for a video,
Yeah.
I know what I have to do to make it happen. I know whether or not I can do it.
Yes, because you've practiced it enough.
Yeah. Other people have the idea and they think that would be neat,
Yeah.
but they can't do it.
But if they practice enough, they could do it. I honestly feel like if anyone practiced enough, they could do it.
But I think it's different because I am also thinking about those things all the time. Like what I want
because it's something
to
that
do.
you're passionate about.
Yeah, that's part of it.
So maybe a part of it is definitely enjoying it.
Yeah, the passion is part of
Obviously.
like being a creative.
Yeah.
If I thought that would be neat, but I don't know, I'd rather go eat a golden corral. Like it's not.
You've got to enjoy it to some extent. Otherwise, you're not going to care enough.
No, you just go. Well, I hope somebody does that someday.
Yeah, okay. So like if I was like I'm going to write a novel, I could be like, okay, like I could do it,
Yeah.
but I really don't care enough to write a novel
That's
to where it's
part
going to
of
be
it.
good.
Yeah.
Because I just like I could probably like if I really summoned it would be like maybe okay.
Yeah. You could make it happen if
It would
you.
be fine.
Yeah.
No one would read it. But it would be like okay. No one's going to like hate it. But it's not
Well,
gonna
that's
be,
not true. Somebody would probably hate it.
Yeah,
Someone,
for
especially if
sure.
you put it online.
Let's just preface everyone. Someone is going to hate everything
of
you
course.
do at all times.
especially creatively.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's not my passion, so it's not going to be great. Like
Yeah.
I'm never going to get great at it because it's not what I want to be doing.
That's such. To me, that's such a huge part of
Yeah.
it. What makes someone a creative?
Like wanting to do the work
Yeah, because that
really plays a part in
that's
it.
the line. Like everyone has ideas all the time. Everyone thinks their ideas are great. Everyone wants to tell everyone else about their ideas. But what separates them from the people that are doing it is the motivation to do it.
Okay, so what happens when you're in the middle of a project? Let's just imagine you,
Yeah.
Jay. You're
We don't have
working
to imagine. I'm right here. Like
you're working on a project. And halfway through, it's been like a struggle.
Mhm.
And you are no longer motivated.
Yes.
So what keeps you going through a project where you're like, well, this is the worst?
Well, is it a project for me? Is it a project for somebody else?
Someone else.
Wow, that's the harder part because
Yeah.
like that's a different category.
Where it's your job.
Um.
And it's like been a struggle. Okay, so let's say you were like motivated at first. You're going, it's good. But then, I don't know, halfway through, you like hit a block and it's just like, ugh, this is not working. How do you gather any creative momentum to make it good creatively?
I don't know that I gather any creative momentum. I'm being serious.
I feel you.
I think that's where the skill comes in. I think
Yeah.
there are ways to solve those problems that aren't creative at all. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they're creative in a different way, but
it's
like,
more like logistics.
yeah, there are times where I'm working on a video where I'm like, yeah, it's definitely not working, but I know how I can make it work.
You can make it better than it
Yeah.
is.
I'm not gonna love
But
it.
that's where you're relying on like going back to some basics of like, well, I know how it works because I've trained myself
Yes.
to do this.
Here are the things I know that a video has to have to work.
Yeah.
Here are the things we have. Here are the things we don't have. How can we get the things that we're missing?
So do you feel like any creative inspiration ever comes into that though? That's what I'm saying is like anyone could do it, right? Like if you have enough training, you could do it.
Maybe.
Or do you feel like there is some level of like creative inspiration where there's like a project that's happening and it's not going well and you really like save it through some creative means?
I don't know. That's really hard to say.
Yeah, I know. I've thought about it a lot and I honestly think most people could do it if they train themselves. I think most people could do anything if they train themselves.
I think most things, it's just like creativity is more abstract. It's like
I don't know if it is.
You could train yourself to do CrossFit, but
But
it's
I
like
think
very
creativity,
ABC.
I think creativity is the same thing.
You really think so?
I do.
How would you define creativity? Because I'll give you the definition, which I looked up the other day.
Oh, hit me with it.
Well, it's interesting because then I'm like, well, I'm not creative at all.
Oh no. I mean, I think that most people could be creative. Like, even like I talked, my family, they were always like, oh my gosh, where did you get your creativity? We have no idea.
That's the same thing
none
my
of us
family
are
says.
creative.
Yeah.
Like, what? But I also then will like talk to my mom, and I see creativity in ways that she doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that she's creative, but she doesn't see it that way because like she's like, oh, that's not creativity.
Oh, I get that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I can also see it though. I'm like, if you just had like studied this and did this every day, like, you would be where I'm at.
I feel that too. I hate when people say they're not creative because I'm like, I see what you're doing. What you're doing is creative.
Yeah.
But then there's the other part of me that's like, you can't do what I do.
Yes.
And I want to believe that, and I want to feel that, maybe because
But
I
I
put in so
think-
much time.
Yes, I think it's the time put in though. I really do. I think putting in time is what got me to where I'm at
Yeah.
creatively. I don't think I've ever been super talented, you
Oh,
know?
Now you're talking like a creative. Love it.
I've never felt like talent. So when people talk about creative talent, I think that's silly.
You know what? I said the same thing to a friend recently,
Mm-hmm.
and she basically told me I was stupid.
Well,
Not exactly like that.
we
She didn't
might
ca-
both be stupid.
She didn't call me stupid at all. But I was like, what do you think? Like, what do you look at as talented? Because I said the exact same thing. That
Yeah.
I've never seen myself as talented.
Right.
I've just worked really hard, and I've worked
Yeah.
longer hours than most people are willing to do
That's how I feel.
to get to where I am. Like, I look at other people's work and I go, God, they're great.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of worthless. But then the way she put it was like, you're born with certain things, like even having a certain level of empathy.
Yeah.
That's a talent in a way, especially if I'm a storyteller. That's a talent. I'm able to look at people in a way that other people aren't.
Maybe so.
And that's something I was maybe born with.
Maybe.
That there's skill that needs to come with it. I need to know how I can take that and make it into a story. But there are certain parts of me that other people don't have that I do that make me better at what I do. And I believe that's probably true for you too and other creatives, the ones that are good at it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it is like maybe you're just predisposed to being a certain way. And
Yeah.
so you probably gravitate toward those things. But I really do think anyone could learn it. Anyone. I really fully, at my core, believe anyone could do it.
Learn it, yes, but it's still got to be in you, right?
I don't think so. I think if the want to do it is within you, then yes. If you're like, I don't feel creative at all, I've never done anything creative in my life, but I really want to do it, you can do it. I really do think that.
Well, that makes sense, but I don't think that makes everyone a creative, though.
Maybe not.
Because
No.
I mean, look at like bodybuilders. If I wanted to be a bodybuilder,
do it.
I can absolutely do it.
I think
could be.
creativity is the exact same way.
Right.
Exactly the same. I think it's a 100% same.
I'm not against the idea.
Okay, argue against it though.
Huh?
Go against it. Tell me.
No, because I don't even know how I don't know how I would argue.
Okay,
it,
but
'cause
how do
it probably
you
is.
feel about it?
Well, everyone's got an imagination. I mean, when you're a kid, you think about things in a different way. You look at the world in a different way.
Right.
And then when you get older, that probably goes away a little bit for a lot
For
of people.
most people, I think it goes
Yeah.
away altogether.
But really, all creativity is like having that imagination. Wait, did I even read the definition?
No.
So
Tell me what it
the
is.
use of imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of artistic work. So that's all it is. Everyone's got an imagination, and then it's like bridging the gap between imagination and being able to make those things happen.
Yeah. But I think anyone can do that. I think most people just think they're incapable of it. Which is why we have like creatives, because they're the ones who are like, well, this is what I'm doing for my life because this is what I held on to.
Yeah.
But most people don't see that as like a lucrative opportunity in their life.
I wonder why.
Well,
because it's not very lucrative.
maybe not, but that's why. I mean, I think most people shut that off because they're like, well, that's silly.
Yeah, but I think some people's brains gravitate towards that.
Oh, for sure.
Those ideas.
Absolutely. I mean, mine definitely has. Like, if you look at me and my brother, like, I gravitated toward more artistic endeavors, and he definitely gravitated more like scientific.
Yeah.
Kind of things.
So wouldn't that make you more that person that's not learned? Wouldn't that part of it? Because you could just go home and watch movies every night, or you could like, I don't know, like go cook or like go for walks or a bike ride, but you're interested in making things.
Yeah.
And for me anyway, I don't know why that is. I don't know why exactly. I just do.
Yeah. I don't know either.
Other people are like, that's cool. I might do that sometime. And I'm like, no, I need to go do that.
Yeah.
I really have to do that. And that's a big part of me.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I guess that's the big thing.
No, I don't know if I know why either.
But I definitely get what you're saying. I think anyone can learn those skills to make it happen. Everyone's got an imagination. Everyone's got the ability to learn a skill.
But I also wonder if, like, on some level, people don't know what a joy it can be.
Well, that's probably true.
Because, like, sometimes I'll discover something new creatively, like cross stitch, where I'm like, oh, this is actually really fun. It seems like an old lady thing, but actually I'm really loving it, and I'm making my own patterns, and it's becoming cool.
Yeah.
And like, I would not have explored that if I maybe wasn't already exploring things that were adjacent to that. So like, I was already kind of doing like some crochet on the side, and like I kind of just like fell into it, but it ended up being something that was like a creative outlet for me, where I was like, oh, I can create my own cross stitch patterns. But I only stumbled upon it because I was like kind of in a similar vein, whereas maybe most people aren't exploring those things.
Yeah, so they may want to do it for fun, but then they're overthinking it and they're not actually enjoying
or not
it.
actually being creative about it. Like, you can be like, I want to do cross stitch, but like buy everyone else's patterns, where you're not actually creating anything, you're just copying things. So I could see where it's like you have to kind of be in a creative mindset to like really creatively explore things outside of what you're doing every day.
Yeah, I think once you've gotten further away from that, like maybe you haven't thought about that since you were a kid.
Oh, I think most people don't.
And once you're an adult, you're like,
or they don't even see that as a, like, they would be like, oh, cross stitch, like I would just buy these patterns. They don't even think of like, I could create my own ideas.
Yeah, and they're disconnected from what creativity actually is.
I think that's most people.
Because since I was probably, I always say 14 because that's when I got a camera. Mm-hmm. And then it was very easy for me to understand how I could take this thing and make another thing. And then from there, that's just how it always was.
Yeah.
I had an idea and I could make it. So like that made sense to me. And for some people, they've never done that, or not since elementary school, when you're like coloring and then you're like, I drew a picture.
Yeah.
But like on a bigger level where you're like, I have an idea. How can I make that idea happen?
It's interesting that you bring up photography, because everyone's taking photography now. It's like, Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like a thing. But why is it that there's not more creativity? I mean, maybe there is.
Is there?
Maybe there's more. I don't know.
Well, but people,
I don't feel like I feel like I follow a lot of creative accounts, so I do see a lot of creativity, but there's also a lot of just bullshit.
Well, I think creativity's cool now.
Yeah, that's true.
So you make the thing that people want to see.
Yeah.
And then to get the likes.
But also, you might not be making anything creative. Like, I was looking at a blog post recently that was talking about how, like, travel photos, it was like a blog of travel photos that are like the same photo taken by so many people at different places and in the exact same way. And that, I don't know, there was like a really sad feeling to the entire thing. It was like, here's this place and here's all the photos that were taken here, and it was like the same photo over and over and over and over, just like a grid of the exact same photo.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Well, it's almost like a status thing. You know,
Yeah.
people want to take pictures and go, well, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
And then you look at their pictures and it's like, well, you're just mimicking what other people did.
Yeah. But it's like a lot of the influencers and like more well-known people were taking those photos that were exactly the same. And it's, what does that say about us? Are we losing creativity
Maybe.
as a culture?
I think we should stop posting so much on social media.
That's probably true.
I don't hate social media. I don't post a lot.
Well, me either.
But I like, I don't want to be posting because you're trying to keep up with everybody else.
Right. I think that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah, I think it's fine to post. I actually love the idea of social media in a way that you're keeping your friends informed about what you're doing and like you're staying connected. I think that's why it was created, but that's not what we're using it for now.
No. I mean, it could be a good outlet. It has been a good outlet for creatives, but then it also becomes like this weird curated show of like, we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, and you got to let everyone know that I'm also at the correct level of creativity that I'm supposed to be.
Like it's like a picture of a waterfall and we're all posing in front of it in the same way. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's like when you learn to take
sad.
pictures and you learn about cameras and you learn how it works. And then like you take a picture of a pretty thing. Well, everyone can take a good picture of a flower. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard.
No.
At least for like someone who doesn't understand it, you go, well, that's a nice picture. Like, well, yeah, it's a pretty flower. Like it's like taking a picture of a model and you go, she looks great. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
She looked great on my iPhone. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets weird.
Yeah. And a lot of creativity for me is like trying to be different, but it's so hard to be different. Like doing a few branding projects recently, like the entire team, it's just been like, here's kind of what I'm doing. And someone's like, oh, well, someone did that logo already. And it's just so hard to be original. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're trying, so hard.
Well, everything's been done and you're being influenced by different things without even knowing it.
Oh, for sure. Like, for sure. Even recently, like I've done some logo options and I'm like, oh, this is so good.
God, I'm good.
It's gonna kill. And then it's like, someone's like, oh, actually.
I don't want to like panic you, but I've seen this.
This is kind of already a thing. And I'm like crushed inside, but also like, well, thank you.
But also that like a certain level of originality is not encouraged either. If you
True.
did something totally different, people are like, that's really different.
Yeah, like if it's too different, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, and you go, but
back up.
I feel strongly this will get a reaction. Like, whoa, we don't want to be that different.
I'm like,
whoa. But that's the
Yeah.
thing I think I'm missing. That sometimes I want to be able to do something that we may look at and go, I don't know, that might be bad. It might be terrible. But let's put it out there and see if it's actually different.
That's
good.
hard, man. That's really hard because in your mind, you're like, I have to fit within a certain bounds.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing work in a creative agency.
Sure.
You're like, I need to.
Well, because you have clients.
Yes. Like you're
answer
trying
to.
to please your agency and also clients and like
Which
you're
is
trying to-
fair.
oh, for sure. You
Because
have
if
to.
I'm paying an agency, I'm also like, I understand maybe you want to help us get ourselves out there in a different way. But I'm also paying you and I get to say if I'm comfortable with that.
And I think a lot of clients are wanting something that they see other people liking.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I feel like we end up, it's like, hey, we saw these people do this thing and it was like real good. Can you like do that thing?
Yeah, but be different.
But like a little different, but like you try something different and they're like, but can you like kind of make it
It's like
like that thing that we saw?
It's like in high school where they're like, so just, don't plagiarize. I mean, use your own words, but,
But, like,
say
make
what
it-
they're saying. Make it your own. Make it your own. Like, okay.
You're like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Am I making it?
Say what they're saying, but my way, but still
That
copy
is
it.
pretty much being a creative in an advertising agency.
But that's the hard part because
That
it's
is
like
the hard
it's like there are valid reasons to have to do those things.
Yeah.
You are, it's totally fair.
It is.
But then to be creative in a way that you have no bounds,
Yes.
and you just want to see what works, and you want to try things, and it's almost impossible.
It is.
The same with a comedian.
That's true.
I think about that a lot, where when they're working out jokes for maybe an hour special or like even 10 minutes, they're probably going to say stuff that's crossing over
Oh,
a
yeah.
line many times.
For sure.
And they'll know that when they say it too.
Yeah.
But that is the point of it. And you're not really allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like none of them are
No.
saying like, oh, everything I say is right and like it doesn't cross any lines. They're trying to work it out so they can tell a joke to you that makes sense and makes you laugh. And along the way, they're going to say something that's probably offensive.
For sure.
But it's like you're not allowed to do that. And that's hard.
That is hard. And I do feel like it's the same in a creative aspect where you're like, okay, I want to push all the boundaries just to like see where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
Like you've got to kind of test that. Like where are the boundaries?
You have to cross the line to know where it's at.
But then sometimes there are people who are like, whoa, what are you doing?
You're really approaching that line there.
You're like, yeah, I like that line.
Yeah. Also, do we know where the line's at? I'm still. You seem to know. Are we sure?
Anyone know where this line's
Yeah.
at?
Does anybody actually see the line? I feel like we're not there yet.
And everyone's like, I'm not responsible for the line.
Yeah, like they said they saw the line. We're gonna go with what they said.
Yeah.
They're the client.
Yep.
Uh,
All right. Talk about the creative process for me.
oh wait, yeah, I was gonna.
Oh, yeah. Hit me with it.
Here's the creative process.
Yes, please.
It's so accurate. So you've been helping me with this freelance project. And I don't
Yes.
know if that's the best example.
That's a fine example. We can start with it as an example.
All right. Well, okay. Then I'll read this off to you, and you tell me if this has been your process.
All right.
With this, I downloaded a few. Oh, here it is. This is I don't know if you'd call it a meme or not.
All right. We'll call it a meme.
Call it a meme. So somebody wrote creative process,
Uh-huh.
and then it's 6 steps. of,
Oh,
like,
yes.
What you're going
Hit me
through.
with these steps, please.
All right. So you have the idea, right?
Yes.
Step 1.
Just like step 1 is the idea.
Well, that's not what it says. I'm just setting you up.
Okay.
I assume this is what step 1 is. So you have the idea, and you go, "This is awesome."
Oh, God.
Right?
Sometimes I feel like there's like 18 steps before the idea.
Well, whatever.
Okay,
they broke it down
so
to
we've
6.
reached the
We're-
idea.
We're starting at.
Wait, how many steps?
This is 6.
6, and you've already reached the idea?
No, don't even think of them as steps. We're just starting at the part where you've decided what you're going to do, and you go, this is
Okay,
awesome.
well, I feel like there's like 20 steps before that, but
It doesn't
great.
matter. It doesn't
Cool.
matter. Well, if you
Yes.
want to go that far
Okay.
back, then it's
We
like
got...
there's 3,000 steps when you were born. Okay, but
Okay.
we're starting at.
Okay.
This is awesome.
This is awesome. Idea has been set.
Yeah, and you're like,
some beautiful being has
Yes.
said, this is the idea.
Yeah,
And everyone is on board.
everyone's excited. They're like, oh my
Everyone-
god, who came up with that? That's good.
Every single person is on board with this idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
God, this is exciting.
What a world.
I can't imagine. We're gonna be blogged about. Somebody.
Okay.
This is awesome.
I'm glad we're on this page.
Yeah. Okay.
Please keep
so
going.
Then right after that,
Okay.
this is tricky.
Oh, yes.
This is tricky.
That's why I was like, woo, everyone's on board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, I think this is more of a personal thing. But when I say everyone, really, you're on board. At least you're on board.
So then the next step is this is tricky.
This is tricky. Like you start it and you go, this is
Yes.
gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Like I see what it could be, but this is gonna be tough.
Yep.
Step 3, you ready? Mm-hmm. This is shit. This is definitely
This is
shit.
mostly where I live. I
jump right into it.
spend most of my time living right in this one.
Well, you're ready. You'll be ready for step 4. You're gonna be ready.
I don't know. A lot of times I feel like I don't reach whatever step is beyond this.
Oh, no, you do. Believe me.
Okay.
I'm reading it.
Okay.
This is also you.
Okay.
And me. I feel like
Hit me with step, because I would love to get out of this step.
This is, nope. I don't know. You might want to live in this step. You might want to live in 3. So
Okay,
step
what's
4 is I am shit.
Yes. Oh. Yes. Well, I feel like step 3 and 4 go hand in
Yeah, they're
hand.
really. It just evolves.
I feel that way to get those steps together is my life.
But it's the correct order.
80% of the time.
It's the correct order, though, because you go, this is shit, and then you
That's
go,
true.
therefore, I am shit.
That's true. I feel like it's just like a very quick, like 1 second. I'm like, this is shit. I am shit. Like immediate, just
It's one thing, and then you vomit.
Yeah. Those sound effects together.
That is the creative process. Okay.
Yep.
So
I'm on board. Yes.
5.
Agree. Fully agree.
5. You've gone
Okay.
through that. You're like, this is a nightmare. I
Yep.
don't know if I can finish this.
Yep.
Everyone's going to know that
I am terrible.
Terrible.
Yes.
Why did they let me work here? Why did they ask me to do this? Why did I ask me to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to 5 and you go, this might be okay.
No, I don't reach that.
Just
it's very
with it.
late. I feel like this is okay is like 2 years later.
it doesn't matter when.
Okay, keep going.
I'm just saying, but the 5 is saying that eventually you go, all right, it's fine.
I don't think I reach it's fine. I reach this is what's happening.
I think that's what this might be okay. That I feel like that's the same thing.
That's different.
Might be.
It's not might be, it's this is happening.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I feel like they're like
I feel like we need to change that to this is happening, because
Probably.
a lot of times it's like, well, I'm not fine with it, but it's happening.
I think
I think you have experienced that also.
well, yeah, when it's happening though, and it's not my
You're not like, this is fine. You're like, well, this is happening.
No, because I have decided that it is fine because it's not my decision. So I go,
I don't think so.
it's happening.
No, I have seen you, and I guess this is it.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not like you're
It's
fine
not
with
happy.
it. No.
But you do go, well,
No.
What else
I feel
am I
like
gonna do?
there's still some resistance, though. You're like, this is.
not to the point where I'm gonna go like make a scene.
No, of course not. But like your soul.
Of course not.
Your soul resists.
Of course.
You're like, ugh.
That's fair.
Ugh. Let's
All right.
just call this stage. Ugh.
All right, let's just skip step 6 then, because
What
it
is
feels like it's a
6?
waste of our time at
What
this
is
point.
it?
Well, I feel like step 6 is sometimes true, sometimes not. Depends on what project it is. I feel like if it's a personal project, actually, I would say this is probably more true of personal projects I've
Okay.
had, more so than work projects.
Okay. I've just been thinking of work projects.
Well, it's fine.
Okay. So what is step 6?
Step 6, this is very different depending on what project it is. Step 6 is this is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Definitely depends on the project.
Because there are certain projects where I go, I will never say that's awesome.
For sure.
I don't care what step we're in. I'm not
Well,
saying it.
I do think there are. No. I don't know if I've ever said a project is awesome.
At all in your entire life.
Ever.
I've probably not used that word. I think I've said
don't
that
ever
I'm like, I'm good
felt
with it.
that way.
Like I think there's times where I feel good about it.
I think like the top tier for me is okay. I'm like, I'm okay with it. That is literally top tier. I can't imagine more than that.
I've said I'm proud of it, but
I think for me, it's like a couple years later, maybe I could be like, I'm proud of it.
yeah. And usually for me, that is also factoring in like the time I put in.
Yeah.
What I learned from it.
But I don't think I've ever immediately been proud of something.
I probably haven't either.
Like immediately, no.
Even stuff that I just finished, I'm kind of disappointed in it.
Yes, same. Forever, always. And then like maybe like a year out when I don't have those like negative associations, I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. And then there are times where it's the opposite, where I look back and I'm like, that's way worse than I thought it was at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like for the most part, I'm like, well, that's better than I thought it was at the time.
There's times I go back and I'm like, that's what you did? Okay.
Really? No, that's
Interesting choice, but
I mean,
ahead.
maybe like early in my career, I would feel that way, but for the most part, I feel better about it.
I feel like I'm going to be early in my career till I die.
Oh man, let's talk about that.
Wait, I got one more creative process for you.
Okay.
This is a timeline. This one's maybe better.
Okay.
Work begins,
Yeah.
and then there's this long section
Yeah.
where it just says fuck off.
Yes.
And then there's a shorter section
Yeah.
that says panic.
Yep. Wait, is this like a project?
Yeah, I'd say it's a
Okay.
product project.
Okay. Okay.
And then there's this even like half of the panic section that says all the work while crying,
Yes.
and then the deadline.
Yep.
I'm like, that's pretty accurate.
Yes.
And then that's where you go. That's where you go. This might be okay, or this is happening.
This is happening. I think is my general
I like that.
affect.
This is happening. It's going out.
This
That's
is
actually what I usually
happening.
say. It's going out. So
I think maybe I would actually fare better mentally if I just like accepted this is happening more.
yeah, that's where I've gotten better.
I have a very hard time accepting this is happening. I'm trying to work on that, honestly, for real, because it's hard to accept this is happening when you're like, please don't let this happen.
I think it's gotten easier for me.
But how do you feel most of the time? Please don't. Please don't. And it's like, this is happening. And
There are
you're
times-
like, please.
Well, I
no.
make things and I'm like, I would be okay if that went out. I think it could be better. I wish I would have done this different. but,
That's like that little. Yeah, that's how I feel. This could be better. Why are we putting this out?
Yeah.
Is like my general vibe.
But that, to me, once I decided that, or once I realized that that was never going to change, then I think it got a little easier. Because I'm like, that'll never change. I'm not going to like get over it. No matter what it is, I'm always going to feel like, that
Yeah.
should have been better.
I agree. I do think I've gotten better at that too. Just kind of being like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
But I'm not ever like, I have a hard time being proud of my work. Ever.
Well,
Ever,
I don't think
ever,
that'll
ever.
change. It's like,
But I
it's-
know people who are proud of their work.
and you hate those people.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe like a little bit low key. Yeah.
I think that's why. See, we don't even have time for this conversation now. This is like what I tell you. We're just going to jump right into it. That's why those people will probably never have a full-time creative career or
Okay.
in a way where they are doing what they want to do.
So do you feel like that is part of being a creative?
The perfectionism.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a different level of creative.
Is it?
Yeah, because if if I look at myself, I'm like, that's a whole separate issue that just happens to bleed into my creativity.
Maybe so, but you can say like someone's creative and they can be creative and like whatever. But if they're not trying to better themselves, are they really being creative?
Well, here's why I think it's different. And I don't know what level it's at, but I have some form of obsessive compulsive disorder, which is it manifests itself in perfectionism.
Yeah.
Is perfectionism in my work. It's been to the point where it's just like I could not deal with it. But that's not because I'm creative. Like that's a whole separate thing. But if I didn't have that, I would not be at the level I'm at now.
I agree with that. I feel like there has to be some level of perfectionism to actually be a good creative.
Yeah.
I think you can be creative, but to actually be good and successful, I think there has to be some level of quality control,
I think
which
that's
I
true.
think a lot of people don't have.
That's the part I struggle
Even
with.
people who are creatives in a creative aspect maybe don't have that quality control. Oh my God. Is it time?
No, timer's not going off yet. No. That's the part I struggle with because I didn't choose that.
Yeah.
I look at my work and I can't help but hate it.
Yeah,
a
that's how
way.
I feel. 100%.
Yeah, where I go, all right, I see the good parts about it.
Yeah.
I see where it's working, where it's not. I can evaluate it in that way. But I also like I'm always going to be able to pick something out where I'm like, that should have been better. That should have been better. That should have been better. Not everyone does that.
No.
And that's
not
why
everyone
when
does
my
that.
friend told me about, like, I think you're born with certain talents, I'm like,
But is
I
it
can
a
see
talent
that.
to see mistakes?
Is it not
Because
a
I
talent?
think that's different than being creative.
Well, call it whatever you want, but it's part of the bigger picture.
Maybe so.
Because
But I think it's different than being creative. You can be creative and make all the mistakes ever and make terrible shit that no one wants to look at. You can
Yeah.
still be creative. But I
Well,
think there's
yeah.
another level of actual like quality control of like what do other people want to see. You can be creative and make shit that no one wants to see and no one cares about,
yeah.
right?
So maybe it's just about success.
I mean, I think it's maybe being able to understand and see what's successful and make that distinction that actually makes you successful. But I don't think that has anything to do with creativity.
That's true. So if you can combine both of those,
Yeah, it's different though.
but that's a rare combination.
It is. It's hard. It's hard to strike that balance of like being creative and then also figuring out, okay, what's the balance of being creative and then also trying to be successful.
Yeah. Because you see people who just make things and are like, I don't know, I just like love it. I just
Yeah, and
love
people
what I
can
do.
like be super creative and make things
and they're happy doing it.
Yeah, and that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful in a career.
No. And I hate the idea of the tortured artist.
Oh man.
Hate it. It's my least favorite thing. I hate when
Why?
people do it
What do you mean?
because it feels so forced. Like I think
Like,
people do it because
it's so hard doing this.
Like, I don't know,
being
just
doing
like,
art.
Oh, I'm just like tortured. Like people want it. They
yeah.
want it.
Yeah.
And I've gone the opposite way. I've like tried to find ways where I can create and be happy. But
Yeah.
then there's this part of me that's like, I know that no matter what I do, like I'm always going to be critical of it. And I didn't choose that.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting against that. And I think it makes me better at what I do. But there are other people that they're like looking for something to just make them tortured so they can feel like more of an artist.
Oh yeah.
And
for
I
sure.
hate the idea of being called an artist, and I hate the idea of being like just the whole torture artist, sad artist thing, because I think I think it's dumb.
I know. I also hate the idea of being called an artist. What does that say though?
No, I call that. Someone mentioned that recently. I was like, I'll never call myself an artist.
But isn't that a little sad because we both are technically artists?
Technically, it sounds so pretentious.
But we both are like, don't call me that. Don't
No.
you dare.
It just sounds so pretentious. I don't know, and I don't
It
feel that
does.
way. I always feel somewhat less than.
Same. I wanted to do art when I graduated high school. I was like, well, I'm doing studio art. It's going to be good. And
It's gonna be good.
I'm so glad I didn't do that because I would have been terrible at it, first of all. And, oh man, just wouldn't have worked out for me.
Maybe not. Maybe it
But I also, unfortunately, am an artist.
will. Ugh, don't you call yourself that? Pretentious. Pretentious.
But like, that is sad. I
I-
think both of us feel that way, but that is sad that we have to feel that way.
Yeah, it's because of I think who we're surrounded by.
But maybe so. I don't know.
You don't think so?
Probably.
I look around and
I also just like, it's hard for me to see myself as like a traditional artist. I'm not a traditional artist. I'm bad at sketching. I'm bad at drawing.
but art is like a lot of things.
Yeah, but it's still kind of hard to like remove yourself from the kind of traditional view of like what an artist is.
Yeah. That's why I look at artists and I'm like, that's that thing. And
Yeah.
I'm just someone who
Like I'm like,
makes
oh
things.
well, I've always like kind of enjoyed art, but I'm bad at sketching and painting and sculpting and I'm bad.
I almost feel like I need to be more pretentious to call myself an artist.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if
You're like, I don't know. I feel like I need to get into like sculpting.
Yeah. Or I need to wear different clothes and talk about myself more. And it just feels like
I need a painter's palette. I don't know.
it's like a different personality that I just don't feel like I fit into that.
No, I feel you.
Because I went to an art show recently and I was like,
Oh my gosh. Same.
I feel weird being here.
But that's so silly to me now. I feel you because I also am like, well, I'm not an artist. That's silly. But but also that's what I do for a living.
That's why I prefer
technically
the term creative. You're a creative.
But I think that's just semantics.
Whatever. I love semantics.
Oh, I'll just call you a creative from now on. That's fine.
We'll decide what the actual term is later.
But I think that's also part of why people have trouble attributing maybe things about themselves that might be creative. They're like, I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
But like maybe
they always talk like that.
Maybe they actually
artist.
Maybe they're actually creative, but they are afraid because that's not what they think.
Because I still feel that when I want to try making new things, I'm like, well, I don't do those things.
Oh my gosh.
You worry about what people will think.
Oh, 100%.
So I'm like, that makes me even want to stay away from social media even more. I'm like, I'll make it. 100%. I'm just not going to tell anybody about it. I want to make this podcast. I'm not going to tell anybody about it. That's part of it.
I'll just be like super honest right now. I told you are one of very few people that I've told that I'm trying to learn Japanese.
Oh, yes.
Because it seems embarrassing to me because I don't want to be seen as like one of those people.
Who people?
Not you know. Oh, we all know.
Yeah.
Those people. But like that's so sad to me also on some level that I can't like be like, oh my gosh, like I love anime and manga and like I want to learn this so that I can read
this. I want to be more in that culture and understand
like that's so cool, but like it's also embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like it can be seen as like a very shameful thing.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Like, oh god, you're look at you.
You're
like
type.
So like I get it.
Yeah.
There are shameful levels for everyone. I think even people who are not in a creative field who want to try creative things, they feel that way. They're like, oh, I'm not like a person who's like does that. So I don't know if I can like try that.
But in a way, I don't have sympathy for that at all.
What? Why?
Only because I'm like, I still feel that every day. But I do it anyway. And I think even if you're in the field, you feel that on some level because you're constantly judged. Everything you do is judged every day. Like people that are better than you, people that are worse than you. Like all you get is judgment.
For sure.
So when someone says they want to be creative, I'm like, well, then go do it. Because I've had to deal with the criticism nonstop since I started. So like I understand wanting that, but I'm not going to feel sorry for somebody because they haven't done it. I'm like, sometimes it's terrible.
Yeah.
But
how do you encourage someone to like get into that?
I think you say it can be worth it, but you're going to have thick skin. And it's hard to tell somebody to not listen to people's opinions. First of all, because you need to. Oh, yeah. If you actually want to be good at it. And also because it hurts when someone tells you that what you're doing is terrible. Yeah. I don't care who you are. It's not fun when someone goes, that's a good try, but
I think we all have to have that.
It's not good.
Even me learning Japanese is like, well, that's bad right now.
Yeah, but the difference with you is that someone could look at your work or your Japanese and say it's not very good, and you go, yeah, I know. Oh yeah. And you would want to be better. Other people want to be told that they're good all the time. Yes. So how do you like break out of that though? I don't know that you can. I don't know. That's why I'm like, I think it's like a combination of things. Everyone's creative. Everyone has an imagination. But then you have to have these other qualities that make you better at it. I think most of it is being open to being not good. I think
a lot of things, though. It's not just creativity.
No.
I think it's so many things in life you have to be open to being like, well, I'm real bad at this right now, but I could be better. And how can I be better? And I think most people aren't willing to ask that question.
No, because you don't want, because it's scary
Oh, of course it is.
and it hurts because you really have to open yourself up to criticism and to feeling bad.
When I present a logo, most of the time I'm not like, here's the logo. What do you guys think?
I'm good.
It's good, right? Like, most of the time I'm like, well, here's this logo and here's what I don't like about it. I can see, like, I'm already trying to figure out, like, what's the bad parts of it.
Yeah, you need them to know that you know.
Yes, because I think that's so important. Figuring out what's bad about this is so important to me, which I don't know, maybe that's not good.
No, it's good.
But
because that's a skill.
Figuring out what's bad, I think, is one of the most important parts of being a creative. What is bad about this is more important than what is good about this.
Yeah. You learn more from your failures too.
Oh, yeah. And just being able to recognize what's bad, I think, is so important to being actually creative. Being able to move forward is so much more drive by what's bad than what's good. Like, if you just talk about what's good, you're not going to get anywhere.
No.
You're not going to learn anything.
No, and you're going to be annoyed by the stuff that's bad, but you still have to just go, okay, but I have to keep going, like knowing that it was bad, but I got to fix it.
And I know so many people who can't handle what's bad about this.
Which sucks, because that never stops either.
No.
I mean, what we were talking about earlier, the project you're helping me with, there are so many things I wish would have done differently. And at this point, I'm like, I should already know how to fix these things. I should already be doing it better. But like every year, every project, everything I do, I just go, I should have done better than that. I should have known better than that. But it's never true.
But I think the only way to get better is by like recognizing those things. And I'm sure like the project for you has gotten better over the years by recognizing those things.
That's true. I can look back on previous years and I know more now than I knew then.
Oh, yeah.
But like every new year I go, should have done that better, should have done that better.
Which is the only way that you're actually getting better as a creative person.
Yeah.
Is recognizing, okay, here's what's not working.
But when I realize that that's what it was going to be, I'm also happier because I know that I'll always think that way.
Yeah.
So
but
it's
not
just
everyone thinks that way.
No, but I think it's important, especially if for you to think that way too. It's important to know that and not let it get you down.
Yeah.
You know that no matter what, no matter how good you get, you're always going to think that way. And it's like not being too self-deprecating when you
That's the hardest part, is like figuring out the balance between this is what's wrong with it and like, okay, I have to let it go.
Yeah, because there could be a point where you're like a world-class designer. Like everyone in the world is like, you are like a god. Mm-hmm. Everything you do is amazing. Mm-hmm. But you still look at it and be like, I'm nothing.
But I also think that a lot of the designers that I know in that realm are like, I am a god. So like, what does that mean?
I don't even think we should discuss them.
to me, they're
I'm annoyed by
they're
them.
great designers though. I'm like, are you doing it right, or are you actually just gonna crash and burn at some point?
Or maybe they have the perfect combination where they are good and they know it.
I hate that.
I hate them.
Maybe that's what it is. Like, I just like hate that idea. Because I think if you're not questioning yourself, if you're like, this is it and this is the way to do it and this is what it's like what are you even doing?
Well,
get out of here.
Maybe you can have like a good ride.
Oh, that's what it is. You got a good ride for like a hot minute.
Well, yeah, because perfect combination, like the things that people want to see, the things that people want to see.
Oh yeah.
You're doing them, and then people are like, "You're great." But when it comes to changing and doing something new and different, you're like, "I'm all out of ideas."
Yeah.
Because I actually never had any ideas.
But there are some people who are like, "I do like 18,000 sketches a day," and it's like, whatever.
And
I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
I know they don't say 18,000.
I mean, there are designers who are like, when I start a project, I do like 100 sketches, and then I just like, it's like it comes to me,
And then I just put it out in the world and see what they feel.
and then the world is like, I love you, and I'm rich, and I'm like, what is this life?
That's why I think consistency is so important.
What do you mean by consistency?
All right, if you're just creating and you're
Yeah.
creating what you want to create and you're doing what you want to do, to just keep doing that. And
Like,
that it might
just
be,
keep doing the same thing you've
No,
always
not
been
the same
doing.
thing. Whatever you're feeling. It may be going against the grain. You might not be following what's popular at the time, but you're just creating.
But
And
like
if-
doing the same thing, or what do you mean by consistency?
consistently creating.
Okay.
Whatever. It doesn't have to be the same thing. You just
Okay.
whatever you want to
You're
create.
just making something.
Making things, yeah.
Okay.
And it might not catch on at the time because people are like, well, we really like these other things over here.
Yeah.
That's popular.
Yeah.
And so for the people that are doing that and promoting that, then like maybe they're popular at the time. But I think the people that are truly original and doing what they want to do and what they feel is good and creative, at some point they have their time.
Maybe, but then are you just grinding for
No, because I
nothing?
also think that you're creating the things that you enjoy, so that you're getting
Maybe so.
that part out of it. You're
I
enjoying
think
it.
that's the important part,
Yeah.
though, is like maybe you're grinding, but you're like doing what you
Yeah,
want.
and that should be the thing, that you should be doing it, not ever expecting that you're going to be famous or you're going to be.
That's important, though.
Well, yeah.
But I feel like you feel differently.
You think I want to be famous?
Not famous, but I feel like you want to be able to create and make a living off of that.
Yeah, but I'm in it for the long haul. Like if I never made any money other than like whatever I'm doing my full time
Yeah,
job,
imagine that. Like, what do you do with that?
I'd be fine. I'd be okay with it. I think of course anyone who creates, they would prefer that you could just do what you want to do and people respond to that and you can make money doing that.
But I think that's a pipe dream. I don't think that's anyone's actual life.
Maybe. I think it is. It's
I
a
don't
small
think it
percentage.
is.
But
Nope.
whatever, let's just say
Okay.
let's just say it's not. That's fine too. I think if you really are a creative person, you will create whether you're making money or not. And that's what I say. I want that for myself, but if that never happened, I would continue to just make things. I don't even know what they are. I would just continue to do it always.
Yeah.
It'll never stop.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I never expect to make money off of whatever I do creatively on my own.
Yeah.
I think that's also part of the freedom that I feel, though. Like, I can do whatever I want and I don't have to worry about, like, am I going to make money off of this?
Yeah.
Which gives me more freedom creatively in my own time.
If that money came though, I think that would
Oh.
be
But I don't ever expect that money to come because I'm not doing things that are like, I'm not like plotting out points of how can I make money.
Yeah, I think those are the people that do the best in the long run. In the long run.
On like not figuring out how to make money.
Yeah, because you end up being truly original, and people find that
Maybe.
because you're really doing it just to do it, and then along the way, if you're doing it long enough, you get fans, you get people who want to see what you have to do.
Maybe.
I don't have it all figured out. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right now.
No, I gotcha.
Because I've seen it. You see people who are like just for years, 20, 30, 40 years, they just do it and they're making almost no money for most of that time, but they get people who really get behind what they're making.
Yeah.
And they'll keep making it because they're not there to make millions.
I think that's the goal, but I think you can't ever expect to make money off of creativity.
That's true. To not if you're going to be truly creative.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you and I work in advertising and we're obviously creative, but I don't think that we're making money off of being creative.
No, we're not.
Necessarily.
Doesn't feel like it.
No. Like the creativity is very secondary to really just like the work
Yeah.
put in.
There is
and
a
maybe
specific goal. It needs to be creative in
Yeah.
a certain way.
And maybe that's my feelings about creativity, expressed through because of where I work and how I work. Like, my idea of creativity is different. My idea of creativity on my own is very different, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, my idea of creativity on my own,
To me, that is true creativity.
very different idea.
What you feel is creative on your own is, I feel like, the only true definition of creativity.
Yeah.
For
Which
anyone.
is so different for me than what I do every day.
Yeah. Which you could argue that's not creative at all.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, there are elements to it, but it's not true creativity because it cannot be truly original. It can't.
No.
It cannot.
At a job.
Yeah, because there are constraints. You can't.
Oh, for sure.
You can't do what you want.
But a part of me loves the constraints. Like,
yeah.
like I like working with those constraints because it gives me more of a challenge. So, like, sometimes if I'm just like, okay, I'm on my own, I'm gonna just like be creative, whatever. There's too many options.
It's true.
There's like too many things that I want to do, that I could do, that I would love to do. I'm like cosplay, cross stitch, like embroidery. Like, I have so many venues that I could like try out. Like,
You can give yourself constraints,
it's
though.
too much, but I have a hard time doing that.
Oh, so you just need to like call somebody up and be like, what are my constraints?
Yeah, like give me some constraints because I have like 18,000 projects in mind.
All right, you get 30 fonts.
That's too many. Too many.
One for each day of the year. Or day of the month.
So maybe like on some level, having a job that's like, here's your constraints. I think that's good for me on a day to day, just because like if I could just be like 8 to 5, I got some constraints, I can still be creative. And then outside of that, I got it. I
What
got
if it
to
was
do whatever
like-
I want.
What if it was 8 to 1?
Oh my God.
Maybe I can persuade you that that's possible.
9 to 6 would be actually ideal for me.
No, it's still too long of a day. I need 8 to 1.
8 to 1.
Really,
yeah.
8 to 12, and then you take an hour lunch at 12.
I could probably cram a lot in, honestly, if
Well,
I really tried.
That's more what I'm thinking now. I think we do work too much.
We work a lot, yeah.
I don't mean like where we're working at now necessarily. I
No,
think
just like everyone.
Yeah. I think if you told me that I have 4 hours to get done what I need to get done, like I'm more likely to just like jump right in.
Yeah, I think
Or,
that's
like,
different
4
for
hours.
us, though, as far as like being in a creative field. We're like, okay, on some level, on some projects, we could probably cram
Oh yeah.
a lot into those.
I know what I need to do. I
Yeah.
had this conversation recently where I'm like, I work well under pressure. If you tell
Yeah.
me a video needs to be done in 4 hours, I'm like, immediately I'm forced to think about how I can make it work.
Yeah.
And I do it.
Yeah.
So if you told me I got 4 hours a day, there's not going to be a lot of time overthinking things. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
I would prefer that. 4 hours a day. I'd sleep more. I'd be more creative.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could probably get done what I do in a day in 4 hours if I had no distractions.
Yeah. Good
Just
luck.
like get it done. Yeah. Which, like, of course, we all do. We all
Ugh.
have to deal with those distractions. But, like, yeah, I get you, man.
My goal is to just live alone for the rest of my life and really be fully distraction free. Like
What a beautiful way to end this podcast.
100% distraction
I
free.
want to be alone. I'm ready to be alone.
Yeah. The next girl I date, I'm just going to be like, listen, you seem awesome. Actually, we seem perfectly compatible. The thing is, I've committed to being alone.
Let's ASMR this. I'm ready to be alone.
I'm trying to be creative. It's important to my creativity. So if you could get out of my bed, please.
Yeah, man. That's the goal. That's the dream.
That is not the dream. What are you
Get
talking
out
about?
of my bed.
No. No. It's actually the opposite. I think I'd probably be more creative if I was like in a good, healthy, long-term relationship with somebody who's creative
Shout out creative.
and funny,
Shout out ladies who are creative and funny.
and I won't go into the whole list, but
I feel like that needs to be the next podcast.
maybe it will be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, this conversation can go on for like 8 hours.
Well, that's true.
I love creativity. I love talking about creativity. You can come back. We can talk more creativity. I
Yeah.
feel like we can be more specific. Thank you.
Ooh, how long ago did we hit that?
I'm not gonna tell you. I'll tell you when we're off air. This one ran a little bit wrong and long.
Well, that's how it goes.
Thanks for being here, and I'll probably see you tomorrow.
All right. Well, good luck.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again to Cassie for coming on. It was a lot of fun. Like always, I could talk about creativity for days, although maybe it's a good idea that we don't talk about it for days, because I think there's so much that we can't know and won't know. And it's just maybe going to make me more crazy. So it's probably just best to leave it at that for now. But anyway, if you like this episode, please let me know. If you hated this episode, please let me know. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, please let me know. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.